All right, ladies and gentlemen of the 118 scale, 3.75 inch, 4-inch modern action figure community, I am back again with another video. And in this video, we're going to be discussing none other than G.I. Joe's Navy SEAL. Actually, one of G.I. Joe's Navy SEALs. There are a few, not very many, but there are a few. And we're going to get into it. As we all know, the G.I. Joe classified line is heating up. And with that being said, from what I saw online, it looks like Torpedo may be one of the next figures to come up on that line. So I thought it was only right that we pay homage to him in the 118 scale form, or the modern 4-inch, 375 inch, whatever you identify these particular figures as. So let's talk a little bit about him. Edward W. Lealoa, commonly known to G.I. Joe fans as Torpedo, was born in Aiea, Hawaii. His birth name is borrowed from a comic artist by the name of Steve Lealoa. Prior to the military, Torpedo was a scuba instructor back in Hawaii. Torpedo may very well be one of the very first non-Army members to join G.I. Joe. In fact, Torpedo is a Navy SEAL, and his primary MOS is that of Navy SEAL. Secondary is demolitions. Now, some of his skill sets include he holds multiple black belts in different martial arts formats. He is also skilled in combat diving, halo jumps for many different operations, and fast roping day and night. So needless to say, he is about that action. Just by this very little clip or this very little note that I read of him, if he's a halo jumper, that means and fast roping is the type of guys that went after Osama bin Laden and other types of deals like that, where they use, I believe it is Black Hawks, and they use the ropes. They come down in the ropes in the dead of night or in the day, and get the job done. So anyway, Torpedo, he shows up in approximately 13 episodes of the Sunbow series, and he also shows up in a comic. I believe it's the comic where it's called Worms of Death, and he shows up in that a few times. So with that being said, he's a super cool character, and this type of figure I really needed when I was a child, because I always had water operations, but I never actually had a designated scuba diver. But let's get a look at him. So what you have here is he's wearing his Frogman suit. This is a 50th anniversary offering. And how do we know that? Because the G.I. Joe logo is painted gold. So he's very plain Jane in this aspect. He's also got the gold logo on his arm. But he's very plain Jane in this aspect. But when you equip him with his gear, he definitely is a cool character. So if you collect any figures from the 50th anniversary line, you know that they released his file card in numerous languages, which I think we saw this in the G.I. Joe Retro figure line, and I actually like the way they did this better. If they were going to do that, it was much better that they put together these little cards, because all the information is there, and just in other languages. Choose a language, and that's your card. Unfortunately, I'm not that very well versed in in la lengua de español. I speak yo hablo poco español, which means I speak only a little bit of Spanish. I can understand it, and I can speak very little. But anyway, let's move right along. Here's his file card, and you can pause and read that if you would like. And it also talks a little bit about his prior experience as a scuba instructor, which is really cool. And front and back, different languages. So that's pretty cool. So we have a little bit of, well, pretty much all of his equipment is out. And let's take a look at it. First and foremost, he has this scuba mask. And it slides over his face like so. And he also has this backpack that goes along with it. Nicely detailed, not a whole lot going on with it, but when you get these hollowed out backpacks, a lot of times you can put some of his equipment in there, marry it to his back, and it'll hold that equipment in there. But it also looks like here, if I'm not mistaken, I believe his breather hose, I believe this is a rebreather because it goes in and out. And if you look back here, you see those holes right there? So they peg into those holes. Let's see if I can get that done here for you. My big fingers, that's not easy. All right, let's see. You know what? I'm not messing around with that. That's where they go. You have two of them, one on each side. If you can see that, and that's where they will go. And that will complete his rebreather. You have scuba, which is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, which would be this or the tanks that you see on their backs. And those, I believe, are non-rebreathers. But in this case, since he may be underwater for a very long time, longer than average, because he's highly trained, so longer than average, then he would need this rebreather so it would filter out, come back in, he can breathe it out, and it'll keep filtering, keep breathing, and that way he'll have a longer air supply. Next, he has what looks like this looks like some kind of a harpoon gun. Why he would need that, I don't know. Maybe if he's underwater doing his thing and he comes across like sharks or any animals that may attack him or hinder his progress, he can harpoon them with that. I guess that's what that is. Not sure. You see? All right, moving right along. He has two knives, almost identical. Nice little filleting knives. Maybe if he gets to his location and he has to be sustained on a beach for a little while, then he has those paring knives. He can fillet some fish. He can, cook some stuff up. And last but not least, I think this is my favorite part of this figure. And these are these really cool flippers. I guess that's what you call them. I'm sorry, I don't know the technical term of these, but these really cool flippers. And they're much nicer than some of the others. I know the 50th anniversary, what do you call it? Well, the Comic-Con Undertow figures have these. And then I can't remember what the other figure line is on Cobra. I think it's the Eels. Cobra Eels have these. Okay, cool. So anyway, I think these are really cool. They pose well with the figure, and they just kind of peg in, slap on the bottom of his foot right there. And 1, 2, 3. Not very difficult. And there you have your diver. Those are really cool. I like the way they did that. They should have released these type of flippers with more figures, but it is what it is at this point. But these are really cool flippers. His knife, he does have a sheath on his side for his knife here. If I can get that in, I think I'll have to take off this backpack and raise that arm up a little. It's not very easy to get that knife in there, but that's where it would go, right there. I'm not going to force it in too hard. Then you have another sheath right here, and I'm not sure if that's for this. Yeah, it looks like it's for the harpoon. Right, there you go. So I'm going to take that out of there. So also, let's not forget, we spoke about a little bit earlier how you identify a 50th anniversary figure. His name fully customized to the character. So this is going to be his personalized figure stand with gold writing. Pretty cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, there is your Torpedo figure. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy making this video. So, with that being said, this figure here, I'm going to give a grade of, I'm going to give him a B plus. And because of his execution, he's executed very simply. I really like the flippers that he has. I like everything about him. And this is just one of those figures that really brings out, the inner imagination. So I'm going to end this video right here. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down below in the comments, and I'll answer them at my earliest convenience. I'm out. Peace. Until the next one. Have a great Friday.